I'm Yasmin.
And hi, I'm Louisa Josiah, National Youth Ambassador.
My name is Xavier Roberts from Accord 268.
My name is Lisa Abraham. Good afternoon. I am the president of the Antigua and Barbuda Drag Racing Association.
And welcome to another episode of NYAC Youth Chat. And in today's episode, we'll be speaking about road safety. The National Youth Ambassador Corps will be launching on road safety campaign in the month of July. And this campaign basically seeks to bring awareness to the population, both pedestrians and drivers, about the importance of road safety. We cannot stress enough the importance of road safety. Now, every day on the different radio stations, on Observer, on Vibes, on ZDK, we hear several pleas from the traffic police and other stakeholders to use the road safely. Yet still, every single day in Antigua and Barbuda, we see a lot of accidents on the road. We hear about a lot of tragic accidents happening, and it's beginning to be a bit of an issue. We are so happy that for the year so far we have not had any road fatalities. However, it begs the question, what is the problem with our road users in Antigua and Barbuda? So guys, what do you think? Why are we having so many accidents on these roads?
Well, one of the things I would say is my association gets bashing every time there's an accident. And 90% of the times, the cars are not even fast cars. Mm-hmm. They're really slow cars. Maybe if they were going faster, they wouldn't get an accident, if I can say that. But on a real, a lot of the cars are not even race cars. But everybody that has a car, every young person that's now getting a driver's license, think they want to fly. Mm-hmm. We have John I 4th and 5th, and now we've just reopened North Sound International Raceway. They will never come to try to test their speed at the track, but they want to do so on the road. There are too many cars in Antigua now on the road for people to be really driving as fast as they're driving. We have another issue where people are talking about the cars that are lowered. Now, the cars that are lowered, some of them, yes, I would say is a problem, because some of them are ridiculously low. And you know where you live. If you know you have to pass over several speed bumps to get to and from your house, to lower your car and drop it to the ground makes no sense, because you know you can't maneuver the speed bumps.
Exactly.
But you have them trying now to want to implement a law on lowered vehicles. The law, I don't have a problem with making a law, but the law needs some specifications, because there are cars that come from the factory that are lowered. I have my car that has lowered springs on them for the suspension support, because I use my car to race.
But don't you believe it's a hazard on the road when these cars are so low?
No, it can't be a hazard. They can't drive fast, you know.
But
our roads are not good. So those lowered cars, no matter what they try, they can't go no faster than they're going.
But Lisa, if you're in traffic, you're in a long line of traffic, and you're going to work, you know, there's a red light, there's a green light, and then let's say the green light comes on with your lower car, and I'm trying to go to work on time, for example, and you're driving, and you suddenly meet, let's say, a speed bump, and you have to stop, and you have to swerve on this.
Well, those that are ridiculous lowered, like I said initially, those that are ridiculously lowered, yes, they are a havoc. But you can't say to somebody that have lowered their car by putting on lowered springs, for instance, or coilovers. Not cutting your spring. Cutting your spring makes no sense, because it actually affects the safety of the car running on the street from you to cut your springs. The spring is already compromised, so your safety is compromised. But lowered springs, they sell them legally in Antigua and Barbuda, so they cannot be something that's considered illegal.
But not because they sell it, that means it's right though.
Oh no. If they're going to make a law to make it illegal, they have to ban the importation of it. As long as it's available that you can go in a store and legally purchase it, they cannot tell you can't legally buy it to put on your car.
So do you think that we should sell that?
First, I can't say not to sell it, because they're not in such a way that they compromise the vehicles. Those cars that you see it lowered to the ground, 90% of those springs are cut. It's not lowered springs that have brought them down that low. And for those, if they stick on a speed bump, I say take away their car. Straight up.
Exactly. So don't you think then that we should have a law passed to enforce the fact that No, I'm not too particularly au fait with the terminologies for these cars.
Okay.
But the fact is, if you have these cars that are low to the ground, that you cannot even go on the street, you can't even drive.
Oh no, that is ridiculous.
You have to reverse.
So
the
in
questions
road.
are ridiculous.
The question is,
And
are
have
they
people
going to pass?
waiting for you.
Are they going to pass a law that say your car can only be a certain height off the ground? Your
Yes.
car can only be 6 inches
Because
high?
you know the roads that you're driving on Antigua and Barbuda, we don't have those straight roads defined in
So
Miami.
why don't you say, for our taxpayers' dollars, they fix the roads?
Thank you very much.
Of course.
In countries
Hence
like-
why I'm asking,
In
what do
countries,
you
in
think
countries
is the
like
problem?
England, in countries like England, there's actually a law that if your car gets damaged by the road being bad, like a pothole or something like that, the government has to pay to fix your car because you pay a road tax or something like that for them to keep the road safe. A lot of roads in Antigua are horrible.
Of course.
Every time airplane comes, they dig up the road, they put in another pipe or something, and they leave it there. The dirt comes, the rain comes, the hole gets about 10 feet deep, and my car cannot pass through it. So I will slow down and swerve around that hole. I don't care who's behind me. I'm not going to drive in that hole. My car cannot go in that hole, and it's not even that low.
And it doesn't have to be your car is lowered, huh? It's just some of the holes are so deep, even a high. I drive a truck, and for even me to go into some of these things, the truck bottoming out because some of these. So you can imagine how those car people make it through them.
Exactly.
You understand? And then
You can't.
imagine you just pay for a wash down, and you go down the road. You
$45.
pay
$45.
45 for a car, 60 for a truck,
Exactly.
and then you can't drive safely going where you're going because there are potholes in the roads. The potholes, I say, before the laws pass, we fix the roads. So we advocate for the roads to be fixed first. As long as the roads are perfect, implement whatever law you want. But you can't want to say the speed limit is 40 miles an hour. Okay? And I'm driving 20 miles an hour to save me having to replace my bushings, my shocks, all these suspension pads that will get damaged if I dash through 40 miles an hour and hit a pothole at 40 miles, not at 60 or 80, at the legal speed limit. Come on.
So we're seeing there's an issue with our roads in terms of them not being fixed properly with the potholes. That's
Not being
causing the
fixed at
accident.
all. Not
Exactly.
just
But we
properly.
see these people are putting the barbed reels in the road. We see public
And they
works,
do a
they
very-
did a
they do a
whole
very shabby job.
relaunch and we see them putting the
They
pot-
do
the-
a very
But
shabby
no, no.
job.
Realize all of the
But they
holes.
try
No,
it.
you real, no. That's
No,
not.
it's not even
That's,
trying.
that's not even trying. It begs you to wonder if these patch up of the roads is just to keep people employed. Because if you're going to see every time rain comes, it digs a hole right here. And all you come and do is put sugar cake in that. By the time rain comes, the sugar cake gone again, you know. And they just come put in more sugar cake.
One perfect
So
example.
every week, you're going to send a crew out to just put sugar cake in this hole for rain to come and wash it out. And you know the climate we're living in. And it is going to rain and it is going to wash out. I would say, chop it out. Fix it properly. Then you don't have that to bother with again.
A perfect example is the road on Airport Road where they just put in the new solar panels. That hole right there across the road has been fixed maybe 7 times this year alone.
Okay.
Every time you pass over it, maybe a couple months after, it sinks in and goes about the next 6 to 8 inches deep. My car cannot drive through that, so I will continue to swerve around.
Your car is
I'm
too low?
sorry.
You think your car is too
No,
low?
my car is not too low. I wouldn't say that, but
You
I
don't
bought
think
my car lowers for $3,500 US, and I put on my car, and my car is tastefully low, but it's not too low. I can still drive over speed bumps fine.
You're sure about that?
I'm
You
sure
don't have
of
to
that. I'm quite
swerve
sure.
in the traffic.
Not all speed
You don't have to
bumps. Okay,
reverse
okay.
in the road before you...
There are some speed bumps that are ridiculously high. I can say that. There's no regulation for all the speed bumps to be the same height. Somebody just go, they put on some power units and make it a little round circle, and that's a speed bump.
So all
Nothing
these,
there-
you know, before they're going to come in to say ban people or fine people. First, let's deal with the core problem. Fix the roads. If the roads get fixed and then the cars cannot operate on the proper roads, then you can implement the law.
I totally agree.
You understand?
Okay, so Lisa, I get you with the whole car lowered and the modifications.
Right.
But what are the other things that you're seeing in terms of why we're having so many accidents on the road?
Listen, I don't know why
Is
we're
there a
having so
problem
many
of
accidents.
lighting? Is there a
Because
problem
I
of
don't think
persons
a lot
driving
of
drunk?
the accidents are not even happening, say, going over a speed bump. Because if you drive that road several times a day, okay, you of yourself have to slow down. So even if somebody with a lowered car slow down in front of you, you should run into them. A lot of the accidents, like there were 2 accidents overnight, both of them were head on.
You want this morning.
You really wonder what's going on. How people, you and you going the same way, and where you don't have no lights, you can't see, and you hit people head on, and then they can say, oh, them race car people. And none of those cars are even track cars. We have a Noah van, and we have a family car getting in an accident. And then you have all these people, oh, Then we build racetrack for kill people. We have never had a fatality on the racetrack. We have had accidents because our sport is dangerous, and we know that. But everybody has walked out safe. So, I beg to differ when people would want to say, oh, look, they're going to build racetrack for kill people. No, they've built a track to keep it off the streets and put it in somewhere safe and in a controlled location. So you can't say the government has done a bad thing. When you look at motorsports is a $400 billion industry throughout the world. Antigua is only 108 square miles. I'm not a mathematician, but do the maths. See how many times 108 can go into 400 billion.
Do the maths too very fast.
So do the maths and see, you know, that's another. We're solely reliant on tourism. Sun, sea and sand, everybody is selling that. Dubai is selling sun, sea and sand. And there are so many exotic locations that people could go that are cheaper to get to than to Antigua. Regional travel is so ridiculously expensive. So we need to do something else to bring people to Antigua. And motorsports is another way that we can do so.
Okay, so I thank you for your contribution.
Thank you.
And guys, this has been a very informative episode of NYACU Chat. And please tune in for our next episode.